its vessel. Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. Soul of the lost withdrawn from its vessel. Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. So the world might be mended. This is the Nexus. It holds together the northern land of Bolitaria. Thou canst not exit the Nexus, if each of the 5 archstones will connect them to another.
Oh boy. Are we alright? I guess we shouldn't have challenged that guy yet. Let me just check and make sure everything's still in order. Yeah, this looks good. Yeah, plus 10 sword. Yeah, everything's good. We're good. Alright, so I guess, hello, and welcome back to Let's Play Demon Souls. We are now in the Nexus, which is the major hub of the game. Not many of the worlds are open to us right now. In fact, only one is. But there's a strange fellow over here on the steps, so let's go talk to him.
Well, you slipped through the fissure too, did you? You came for demon souls? Or to save this land and be remembered as a hero? Hunting for demons? Try one of the archstones. Now, go. That is why you came, is it not? To this accursed Bolitaria?
We should probably take his advice and follow through on the Archstone. But first, let's go talk to some of these other people. Here we have Thomas.
I'm Stockpile Thomas. When the scourge came, I didn't know what hit me. When I came to, I found myself here, in the Nexus. My wife and daughter fell victim to the demons. But I would be worthless in battle. At the very least, I hope to lend my assistance to you brave slayers of demons. I would be happy to lighten your load and look after any excess baggage.
Thomas is our storage thing. We use him in order to deposit items because you have a limit to the amount of items they can carry, signified by the weight in the lower right of each item description. So, if you get a bit too overburdened, you come to Thomas and you take a load off. And sitting next to Thomas, we have Ed. Oh, no, I'm sorry, this is Baldwin.
You new here? Do you hear from my services? My name's Baldwin, just an ordinary blacksmith. It's simple. Just bring me all the souls you can. In trade, I'll give you weapons, or forge ones you already have. With your souls, I can eke out a living, and with my weapons, you can go on living. Not a bad deal, huh?
As Baldwin stated, he is our blacksmith, and our first one. There are 2 in the game. We can use him to upgrade our weapons, but our weapons are already pretty maxed out. Repair our equipment, but unfortunately we don't have any souls. And we can also buy items from him. But, of course, again, we don't have any souls.
No interest, eh? I can tell you're not gonna last long here.
I mentioned Ed. He is the second blacksmith, but we'll be finding him a little bit more down the line. So let's take our blue friend's advice and touch the Archstone of the Small King, and enter Boletarian Palace. Part 1, the Ramparts. Man, that was one hungry Drake. Sure hope we don't have to mess with him later on. Now we're in the world proper, but before we continue, let's take a quick walk back here and summon a friend. Now, Dark Souls has a very interesting PvP. You can summon other players into your game. Well, not PvP, player interaction. You can summon other players into your game, and they can, of course, help you beat levels. You can also see these signs littered all over the place. If we inspect one of them, we get messages written by other players. There's no actual in-game voice system. You can only talk through emotes and, well, messages left by other players. However, we're cheating and using Skype.
Hello everybody, this is Taoto, and I'm here to ruin this LP. Also, you said Dark Souls. We're playing Demon Souls.
God damn it. Across from Taoto right over here, we can find some Late Moon Grass. It's just, I've already discussed this in the tutorial, it's just an upgraded healing item. It's handy early on in the game when you're first playing. It's on my taskbar just so I don't use up my my other better healing items.
First thing I'm going to do is I'm casting Second Chance, which is a spell that basically makes it so then if I die, I come back. The reason why I'm doing it and not necessarily newbie is because, to be honest, when you're summoned into somebody else's game, you have substantially less health than the maximum.
Right. It hasn't actually been shown off because I technically never died. But when you're in soul form, you have half your normal life bar, unless you equip a special ring we'll be finding later, and then you have 75% of your life bar. You, of course, can only summon other players when in human form, so it was sort of a thing they were trying to make as a trade-off. When you're in human, you can summon players, however, when you're not in human, you can't summon players, but you have half your life. However, at the same time, there's absolutely no player interaction, so that also means that you can't be invaded by hostile players. Something that we haven't really discussed yet.
It never really came up on our test recordings either.
It really didn't, but unfortunately that's probably because we're around level 200. My one wish throughout this entire LP is that we get invaded. Now our friend Taoto here is using magic. Something that I will not be touching upon too much, being a warrior of sword and board.
The main spell I'm using for right now is called Soul Arrow. It's just a very low level spell, and it just shoots an arrow of magic at people.
Over here we have the first trap that most players fall for. You don't want to go down there. That is nothing but death. Most players see the sparklies and think, oh, there must be something good down there.
That's exactly what I did. My very first time playing the game, I went, oh, there's something down there, and I died.
I'm going to top myself off real quick with one of my many Late Moon Grasses. This is usually the next thing that catches players. You walk through here and that little guy around the corner will just destroy you. Now, we're a little overpowered right now, but that's because once you hit a certain level amount, your damage stops going up. So in these early levels, we're going to be a little overpowered, but once we hit the later stuff, we're not going to be killing enemies in one hit. Well, I won't. And enemies will be doing a lot more damage to us.
I'm probably going to be killing just about any enemy in one hit with my magic for pretty much the most of the game, so I'm going to try not to use it too much because magic is extremely overpowered.
Now here we have the first fog door. These are they're checkpoints more or less. You just walk through it. It's gone now. Taoto can now continue through. Taoto can actually walk through fog doors. He has to wait for me.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying. I can see why they did it, so then you don't have just somebody come along and clear everything for you with no consequence, but it's still pretty annoying.
Yeah. We just picked up 2 items there. The first you might have seen me pick up already, and I can't recall if I discussed it in the tutorial, but they're soul items. You use them and you get souls. They're kind of nice since you lose souls when you die. They're a good way of just You know, they're kind of like a bank. You're not going to lose these souls, so you can just hold on to them until you need them. The second item was the Mail Breaker, which was, of course, the thing that we started with, and I don't really need to discuss it again. In fact, I still have it. This one's slightly different. Just a simple upgraded Mail Breaker. Still does really good damage. Although the Mail Breaker, even though it looks it, it's actually not a knife. It's technically a short sword. And as such, it does not get any bonus backstab or parry damage. Oh god, it also bounces off of people ridiculously easy. Oh, I'm switching back to my long sword.
Now you can knock enemies off the edge, which we could have done there, but it's honestly usually not worth the effort.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I meant like off and have them die instantly.
Like
Unfortunately, unlike the sequel Dark Souls, this game does not have a plunging attack, so you can't just jump off and do a downward stab.
Plunging attack on buttons. But this is Demon Souls, not Dark Souls.
I know, I'm just for anybody that's familiar with the Dark Souls game,
Fair
since
enough.
it was fairly popular.
Now, coming up right here is your first major trap. You may think, oh, let me just walk up these stairs. No, this guy's an asshole. And we'll roll a boulder down at you. Now, for time constraints, I'm not going to go pick up that item down there, but it is a bastard sword, your first two-handed, technically, weapon. You can wield it one-handed, but it's generally meant to be, well, wielded two hands.
One thing I've noticed about that ball trap, just seeing people play through it, like somebody doing a speed run, you can actually like roll past the ball while it's rolling down at you. Like you can glitch past it. It
Must be invincibility frames and the such.
Yeah. I imagine it's difficult to do because I've never really tried it, but apparently it's something that can be done.
This side area may be a little bit difficult to first players, but that's mainly because a lot of enemies and ranged dudes attacking you at the same time. Now, through this door, and probably this message will tell us, yes, beginners should try this area later with a rating of 4,784. Because through here is a Red-Eye Black Knight. These guys are pretty scary your first playthrough. Actually, let's see how much damage he does to me.
If he kills you in one hit. Okay.
Nope, but
No,
he did do a lot of damage for, 1-1. And as you can see, Taoto with his overpowered magic scaling weapons still isn't even killing him in 2 hits. On your first playthrough, this guy, well, as a knight, he wouldn't kill me in one shot, but I also had heavy armor and what have you. Any other class probably would die instantly.
I didn't die instantly. I started as the Royal class, which is level 1, and you get like basically the same armor I'm wearing right now. But he never killed me in one hit, but he would do like 90% of my health.
Right. He also has a charging attack that can hit you multiple times.
Yes.
Wait, I want to parry this guy.
Oh, I suck at parrying.
Parrying, so satisfying, always satisfying. So, over here, as this message says, there's an item. Fall off right here, and you find a crossbow. If you didn't start as a class with a ranged attack, that'll be your first ranged attack that you find.
There's also a dude over here.
Yes, he was throwing firebombs at us earlier. The rudest double team.
Yeah, it kind of breaks the game's difficulty curve to do a 2-player.
Oh, you know what? Since we came down here again, let me pick up that bastard sword.
Yeah. That Red Eyes Knight would have absolutely destroyed you if you were playing it solo, but we kind of trivialized it when we did it 2-player.
Maybe you. I beat him my first playthrough.
I beat him my first playthrough. Magic's fucking overpowered. I mean,
Also, behind him, the biggest fuck you out of that whole situation, behind him, all there is a soul of an unknown hero. Just 400 souls, that's it.
and a locked door that you can't go through until much, much, much later on in the game.
Right, there's literally no reason to go over there. You can actually, I take that back. If you are able to kill him, he drops about 1,300 souls. So, that's about 2 levels, I think, early game. Oh, did you try and set off the trap? There's the trap.
Yeah. Ignite sucks, by the way, because you have to be really close to use it.
Come on, it's combustion.
But it does. I mean, it does a ton of damage, but it sucks early on.
Right. Ignite is more or less Demon Souls' version of combustion if you play Dark. Now here there are 2 chains, and if we cut them, we will actually release items down below that we will get momentarily. What we're doing right here, going down this tower, is actually opening up a shortcut. If you felt you needed a bit of respite, I believe is the word, from 1-1, which we're going to refer to most of the areas by just their numbering scheme. 1-1, of course, being the first level of World 1. But if you needed a quick break from the world, oh, I see, you got the switch.
Well, I was trying to show that you can do that because there's a lot of things for continuing on that you can't really do if you're like you can't go through the fog door if you're summoned into the world, but you can pull the levers, so it's definitely useful.
Right there we found the ring that I was talking about earlier. The Cling Ring will of course give you an extra 25% of your health if you are a Phantom. Right there we found the Old Ragged set, which is the Witch set also known as. And here is a Jade Ornament. Jade Hair Ornament will come into play later on. The Witch's set is also pretty okay light armor. Not amazing, nothing really special. I think it has good magic defense, if nothing.
God damn, are you slow?
I'm the same speed as you.
Clearly not, because I made it up the stairs faster.
Some of you may be asking how wearing heavy armor I'm the same speed as him, because in the tutorial I was clearly very slow. I'm actually wearing a ring that gives me much more oh, he dropped something. It gives me much more equip burden than I normally would have. Actually an extra 50% of what my current equip burden is. Also that nice green glow is a later ring that we will get that gives me better stamina regen. Now over here...
I can set that off if you'd like.
Nah, I got it. I'm just going to let him do it.
Okay.
There's another trap. Just make note that these barrels right here, they explode if hit with fire. And now that he has no trap, he has no threat at all.
This is another trap because there's a dude on the side.
Yes, there is. And he is an ass. Now through here, we have our second merchant, aside from Boldwood. The Dredgeling Merchant.
Good day to you. Care to look over my wares? Mostly stolen, but who's telling you?
The Dredgeling Merchant sells basic healing items, fire bombs, basic status restore items, and most of the melee starting weapons. He also sells the plate armor, which I believe that's the warrior starting set. It's more or less the armor of the Boletarian knights. Also, I skipped his leaving dialogue, but I'm sure we'll hear it again later on.
There are more exploding barrels here that really don't need to be there.
Yeah, but they're fun to hit.
I mean, you can use it for like the next enemies if you lure them in there, but it's not really worth it.
So through here, there's a single knight there and some crossbowmen up there. However, if you walk forward, 2 axe knights jump down. Two axe knights?
Yes.
There he is.
He was coming after me.
Multiplayer OP.
Yeah. I was in his direction.
I'm just gonna take out this guy so he doesn't chase after us later.
I'm gonna snipe that dude up there.
One thing you may be noticing, sometimes I do more damage than normal. If enemies are in the middle of a movement action, such as jumping at you or being staggered from hitting my shield, they actually take more damage than they normally would. I generally deal 150 damage, but because they're staggered, I deal 217. Ooh. Oh, you didn't actually get hit by that.
No, I didn't. I ran through.
Now through here is one of your first real difficulties if you're going this way on a new game. It's the two-handed broadsword, Blue Knight. You can see he takes off quite a bit of stamina, and I don't believe there's any starting class that can actually take his hit. I recently did a playthrough as a knight, and he still broke through my defense all the way.
Yeah.
With full stamina. It's pretty crazy, actually. I almost died one because of that.
The game is a lot more difficult on the first playthrough. It's definitely one of those games where you have to know what you're doing to be able to get through.
Exactly. Coming over here triggers a ambush by these two guys. Oh, a little bit of lag there.
Yeah.
But over here, we have the first, I guess, small weapon that you can find. The scimitar, which is the Wanderer's starting weapon. Not me, but the class.
Please, help me. I am trapped, surrounded by dreglings.
This is Ostraa of Bolitaria. We're going to be meeting him a number of times through the game, and frequently helping him.
My thanks for your brave rescue. I am Ostraa of Bolitaria. Accept this as a token of my gratitude.
And he gives us the brass telescope. Ah, good. It went right on my hotbar. I believe this is actually, yes, an unknown soldier's soul. Ostraa is actually kind of beefy himself, and he has this crazy golden glow, which most NPCs are actually just using buffs of some sort. I've never quite been able to figure out what that is. It might be the rune shield that he has equipped, but never been able to figure it out. So it's kind of bothered me.
He also comes directly over here and starts getting wrecked.
Actually, I find that Ostraa can usually handle himself against these guys.
Yeah, but you might as well get all the glory.
Right. Also, you don't want him to die, or else his entire quest line will end.
Oh man, this soul ray is amazing. It's like the soul arrow's big brother.
Why don't you tell us a bit about Soul Ray?
Basically, it's the upgraded version of soul arrow, and it pierces through enemies. It goes through some objects too.
And it leaves these cool aftermarks.
Yep. And it does a lot more damage than soul arrow.
Right.
Basically, once you get soul ray, there's no point in having soul arrow.
Now, right here, if you hadn't beaten the tutorial boss, these would be your first upgrade stones. It's generally enough to upgrade a weapon at least once. And if you're using a shield, it's generally enough to upgrade a weapon and a shield. And we're pretty much done down here. However, we're going to cut real quick to something else. There is something that we skipped over. Cut back in right here. So, down there, on that little ledge, is where Ostraa is hiding from the dredgelings. And over there, we can actually see there's an item. Now, apparently you can just run into this ledge and climb over it. Oh, wait, actually right there. I've never been able to pull that off, but maybe there's just a certain area they had to do it. But anyway, right over here is the Thief's Ring, our second ring. The Thief's Ring is quite handy. It makes you make a lot less sound, and you can sneak up on enemies with it. Combine that with being in soul form, where you make no noise, you can more or less do a stealth run. Of course, once enemies see you physically, they will chase after you. Now, where did Taoto wander off to?
I decided to go scout ahead.
Okay. Ah, there you are. Let's see, is this a real item or are these just enemies? No, this one's a real item.
That was a dude that I killed. He was shooting crossbows at us. Or I think maybe I just knocked his body off the ledge, but...
Yeah. I'm not picking up a lot of the extra items because they're generally just crappy healing items or fire bombs.
There's the second Blue Eyes Black Knight. Or Blue Eyes White Knight, rather. I fucked up.
You fucked up your joke.
Yeah.
Not like me. I'm pro and never fuck up anything I say. Welcome to Dark Souls. What is this? The third or second fall? No, this is the third fall gate.
Second.
Third.
Second.
No, there was one at the beginning, one at the top of the
Oh yeah,
Ramparts
yeah,
in that
you're
one.
right, you're right.
Now here, we have a lot of enemies down the hallway. But
Corridor.
also, there's this right here. And if you back up and swing, well,
Let me
you're in the
through.
way. You're in the way.
Let me through. I can finish them all off in one shot. Damn it, newbie.
Unfortunately, on New Game Plus 4, we're not going to be actually killing all these guys with the trap. but
God damn it, I'm getting
generally,
shot.
let me just get in front of you so I can block the arrows. Also kill the guys.
No, you should be able to finish him off. I have to heal myself. It's
Oh,
good
did you
thing I
actually
had that
take?
second chance.
He actually took the heal miracle.
Yeah. Might as well.
Now, this is a really great view right here, and it's the main reason I left the brass telescope on my hotbar. So, from here you can actually see the other 4 levels of Boletarian Palace. There we have the bridge, there we have the keep, and there we have the tower. And just in general, it's a really nice view, and it's got this really cool mountain in the background. Kinda looks like the Assassin's Creed symbol.
Kinda, yeah. It's all a, oh man, I can't remember the group, the evil group from Assassin's Creed.
Abstergo.
No, the Templars.
Oh, the Templars.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
a Templar conspiracy.
Only if you start as a Templar class.
I mean, who wouldn't?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You should probably just stay down for this.
Okay.
So, here, you'll first, on your first playthrough, you'll see all these knights right here. And you'll start walking forward. However, you'll hear something coming from somewhere. And you'll be like, what's all that noise?
Mom, you're just jealous it's the Beastie Boys.
And then you'll run. And we're just going to watch this in motion.
It doesn't wipe out all of them, though.
It doesn't kill all of them, but it kills a good number of them.
Yeah.
This is the dragon, of course, from the intro. Well, Drake. And he'll just keep doing this. And even as beefy as we are, that's going to kill us instantly. However, if you make a quick run after he's done a pass, all the way over here, you can find his nest. With quite a number of items, actually.
Don't go in there, he's coming back.
Is he really already?
Yes, yes. The best way to be able to
I'm
get
getting
those...
one item.
Okay. He's landing right now. The best way to be able to make sure you can get several... You're going to take several passes to be able to get through.
Right.
Bar none. But the best way to be able to make sure that you can actually get the items, it's... You go up to the top of those stairs that we were at before, and it will... Oh, sorry. It will summon him over there. As soon as you hear him cry, then you just run over here, and you can start collecting items.
Right. However, down here, there are a couple nifty items. Shard of Archstone, and a couple Full Moon Grasses. Shard of Archstone is a nice little item that will warp you right back to the Nexus. No matter where you are, and you won't lose souls or anything. It's pretty much exactly like the Nexus Binding, which I completely forgot to mention because I don't get it on New Game Plus. But it's an item that warps you back to the Nexus, and you lose all your souls. But this one, you don't lose your souls. I don't know why the Nexus Binding is even a item. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Because they're not expecting you to have very many of that of the item itself.
No, I just don't get, like, okay, if you go back, you lose all your souls, but if you die, you lose all your souls, so what's even the point?
In case people wanted to go back, and I haven't the slightest goddamn clue. Okay,
Right.
I didn't design the
So
game.
generally, once you see the dragon go back, you just want to make a mad dash through this past these guys who are attacking me. So I'm just going to roll with my infinite stamina. And here he comes. Or she.
It's not very smart. It doesn't see us run past it.
Right. And once you get to the stairways here, actually I think once you get to where the crossbowmen are, you're pretty much safe, but
Yeah.
we don't need to kill them. They get to live this day.
Nope.
Wow. Ruthless.
You could also use that opportunity to be able to pick off the Drake. If you get it below half health, then it will fly off and not come back.
Right. And you can go pick up the items with no issue.
Yeah.
Now, this lever does something very special. Look at that cool ass spear.
If you love it so much, why don't you marry it?
Oh. Now, over here, there's actually an item that would be very useful for the upcoming boss fight, if you're melee.
And if you're on the first playthrough.
Yes. 4 turpentines. Turpentine's a cool-ass weapon that coats your blade in a coating of fire. Makes you have this badass fire sword.
Spoiler alert, the first boss is weak to fire. Who would have guessed?
I don't know, with all the fire bombs and everything that they give you throughout the level. Yeah, these knights have a chance of dropping both healing items and fire bombs. Your first playthrough, you're probably going to pick up at least about 11 fire bombs. And here we have the hoplites.
Not a problem if you use magic.
Big problem if you're using melee.
Yep.
They cannot be hit from the front. Your weapon will bounce off as if it's a shield. And they have range attacks and very close range attacks, so they're just a pain in the ass to fight overall as melee on your first playthrough.
That, and even if you are a spellcaster, they throw spears at you.
Yes, overall they are just a pain in the ass. Oh, more turpentine. I guess these fire dredgelings drop turpentine. Do I have turpentine on my hotbar? I do. Perfect. Oh. Oh, what's this? Just half moon grass. I generally remember where the important items are. The little ones like that I just pick up and disregard immediately.
There's a lot of small items that you just don't really care about.
Yeah, mainly because this game has actual healing items, so like they're littered all over the place. So we have a couple messages in front of this door. I wonder what they say. Use fire on the next enemy. Big surprise there. Anyway, let's go in and challenge the boss. New Game Plus style. I'm going to equip myself with a special sword that you get in a much later zone and would never have on your first playthrough. Also using my spellcasting equipment, I'm going to run up and roll.
One of the few bosses that does not have a cutscene.
Get stabbed a couple of times and lock onto the wrong shit, and cast Poison Cloud, and look at them numbers. And then, cast Death Cloud, and look at all them numbers. Oh god, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Alright.
Maybe you should have gotten second chance.
I probably should have. Now, show off what I was talking about. The Moonlight Greatsword is awesome because it goes through shields. These things are just walking shields. So you can just swing right through them. It's amazing. But that's not really the playthrough that we're doing. So,
One thing that
turpentine on.
One thing that is interesting about Soul Ray is, like I said before, it does pierce. It will actually shoot through the boss itself and hit like 50 enemies at once.
Yep, look at him die.
Now, if you actually kill all of the hoplites from the boss, then none more will spawn, and it will just sort of scurry away from you.
Yeah, we'll probably be showing that off. Actually, fuck this. We want a greatsword. It's just easier.
Yeah, you're using your greatsword. I'm using my sweet Hanzo steel.
It is Hanzo Steel. Can't really argue with that. This guy seems broken. Oh, there he is. Alright, all the hoplites are dead, and now the boss is just scurry scared. Let's put on some more turpentine. And just wail on him. Really upsetting.
Yeah, it's the first boss of the game, though. It's not that hard.
Yep. Kill security out.
Hey, better to get a kill than not.
Very true. And we can rate our allies at the end of the fight. And we're going to give our good friend Taoto an S.
Yeah, you better. Or else I'm not helping you on the next level.
Oh no.
Alright, later, nerds.
And I'm going to finish off the video by myself now. That Taoto has been dissummoned. If we walk up to the Archstone, just like with the Vagrant, we get the Lead Demon Soul. And we're going to warp back for a quick cutscene.
Welcome back. The monumental awaits the above. The monumental will explain the Nexus to thee.
And with that, we're already done our first level. There's a couple more things to do around the Nexus, but I think I'll save that for the next video. I've given you guys a lot already. So, I've been Wandering Newbie, and thank you for watching.